All right, we're back. We are COMP123 in the summer 2019 semester at Centennial, and we're week 8, part 1 of our broadcast. We're going to be talking about an intro to GitHub first, and then we'll move on to a new project we're going to do together. One thing to note, that this morning's section had trouble with submissions because they don't know how to submit, I guess, on eCentennial properly. You're going to need a text file, all right, for this one. So we have a lab that's due tonight at midnight, but you guys, if you follow along, you should be able to get it done while we're doing it in class, okay? So the lab is going to be kind of an intro to GitHub, so please follow along. So let's do that. So first, before we start, some review. Last day we talked about a couple things. We talked about partial classes. What is a partial class? What is a partial class? It's a class that's split up into different, maybe text files, right? Different files, right? It could also be in the same file, but it's separated with the word partial, right? And we saw that last week, guys, ladies. I cannot compete with you, and you're going to be recorded live on YouTube. So take your conversation outside. All right. So, and same thing with the people over here, please. I'm recording live now, so I can't compete with you. It's only me. You guys are lots of voices. I only have one voice. All right. So we talked about partial classes. We also talked about interfaces in regular classes as well as abstract classes. A bit of a review of object-oriented programming. We talked about composition over inheritance, which is in many ways better. Inheritance is good, but not for everything. And we saw that right now with Windows Forms, we're using composition over inheritance, right? I also talked about GitHub, which is where I want to start today. And I'm going to pull up one of my favorite tools, SketchBook Pro for Enterprise. It's an Autodesk product that I use just to kind of show my, this is like my whiteboard. I don't have my tablet with me today, but I can draw kind of like this. So I kind of drew this really quickly, this really quick sketch. It's not the most beautiful sketch, but it does what we want. Let's talk about a couple of things here. So let's put these away. So one thing is that we talked about GitHub and what GitHub is. GitHub is a web service. That's really what it is, right? And GitHub's web service, what it does is it allows us to store our projects up on GitHub on the web. There's 3 reasons why you use GitHub. What are the 3 reasons? This could be on a test. I talked about it last day. What are the 3 reasons? Yes? Collaboration and? Backup. Those are the 3 reasons. Backup, collaboration, version control, right? We use GitHub for those things. And there's another reason, which is actually maybe more important, which is it's great for your resume. It's great for an interview to show your code to people and say, look, this is what I did, right? I like that one a lot. So we use those things, right? So here's an example of, let's say we have our code in a computer, it's locked into our computer, and we have our project folder, and we have a bunch of files. Some of them are shorter files, some of them are bigger files, right, as an example. And we want to be able to capture our folder somehow. What we can do is we can create a repo. We can use Git, which is a program that we're going to run locally in our computer to capture our snapshot of our files, right? And then push it to GitHub. That's what we're going to do. But first, we need some enablers, right? One is we need GitHub to be installed properly on our machines. We're going to start with that first. So number 1, can you do this? If I go to command prompt, so go to your Windows little icon in the bottom left corner of your screen, click onto it, and then type CMD. And if you press enter, it'll bring up your command prompt. Can you do this? Git ---- version. Do you get this or something like it, or unrecognized command? Command not recognized. If it's unrecognized, don't worry. You're joining thousands of Windows users out there, maybe millions of users out there, that do not have Git installed properly for their command line, right? If you were a Mac user or a Linux user, it's built in, okay? But unfortunately for Windows users, you have to do some work, all right? So here's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to go to a link, git-scm.com. We're going to go there first. And we're going to download this for Windows. Download Git for Windows, please. Make sure when you do that, that this little command prompt is closed. Close it. Because if you don't do that, you'd have to reinstall what we're going to do. So it must be closed. And don't drop coffee on your friends, okay? Whatever you do, don't drop coffee on your friends' heads, all right? Like it is so. All right, so yeah, so download this thing. When you download it, I'm just going to bring up my downloads. I've already downloaded it today, right? Did I download it in the right place? How about that? Of course not, you're going to say. Tom, you didn't download it in the right place. Somewhere, it went somewhere else. Yeah, I know, but it should be here. Where I didn't delete it, so it should be here, but it's not. Let's just download it together. Here's my problem. If I download this thing again, it's going to take me a while. So let me just do it now and kill you guys while you wait. And where did it go? Oh, it went to my desktop. Yeah, it went to my desktop. It's right there on my desktop. Okay, I got it already. So when you download it, it's going to look like my messy desktop. Yes. I love my messy desktop. I don't love my messy desktop. All right. Here, I'll just pull it up like this, like we just did. So I'll go to desktop, and I'll go to, here it is. And it's going to look like this. You're going to bring up this little window that goes like this. Let's follow along, please. Okay? Because it's important you do exactly what I'm doing, or else you may have different results. Okay, so you're going to bring, are you with me, first of all? Are you all downloaded everything? It should take you seconds, right? It takes me longer because I'm actually broadcasting and doing a bunch of other stuff, okay? I'm going to click next here. All right, it's going to take me to the next one. Please arrange your GitHub so it does this. So, or Git, I mean, add additional icons on the desktop, Windows Explorer integration, Git Bash, all that stuff, except for the last one, which is check daily for Git for Windows updates. Don't do that. Okay, next. I chose Visual Studio Code as my Git's default editor, but you may not have Visual Studio Code installed. So just, you can leave it at Vim if you want to, or choose another editor of your choice. Please do not use Visual Studio. It will not work properly. All right? But Vim is okay. If you just left it here and continued, that's fine. Sorry? Visual Studio Code, not Visual Studio. And you don't have Visual Studio Code because you have to download it. Let's just continue, press next. All right, next one. Adjusting your path. This is very important. Please choose the last one. Use Git and optional Unix tools from the command prompt. For the people who came in late that spilled coffee on the other guy, right? I'm sorry, I can't back up. Yeah, you. That's right. All right? So you're going to have to watch this video again later on. All right. So use Git and optional Unix tools for command prompt. Next. Okay, use OpenSSL. That's good. Next. Check out Windows style, commit Unix style. Next. The bottom one. Use Windows default console window. All right? Next. Check all of these. Next. Do not check this one. Enable experimental anything, okay? And then click install. Now, if you did that and your command prompt was closed, you should be fine. You should be able to pull up this and do git ---- version when you're done. If you can do this, you're good. If you're a Mac user, some of the things I'm going to be talking about for you are different than everybody else. So please, who is a Mac user? Just you?
Yeah, it's probably going on my Mac.
Okay, anyone a Mac user? Good. If you're a Mac user, it's different. You have to pull up the terminal and do other things. But for now, all you should see is this. Is anyone not seeing this? Is anyone still seeing unrecognized command? If you are, that means that you didn't do one of the steps I just told you to do. Or there's an error with your machine, right? Or you didn't install things right, okay? Or you kept your command prompt window open, or something like that, okay? All right, if you're with me and you can do this, this is good. This is enabling Git locally on your command prompt. We don't need it right now, but we will in the future. Let's go back to this. So we create a repo by putting git init. What git init does is it creates a hidden .git folder in your project files. In your project folder, it creates another folder that's hidden, which is .git. Okay, let's do a test. Let's go to your last day's lesson, which was 7A or 7, do you see this hidden .git folder? If the answer is no, you need to do some stuff to see it, all right? So in order for you to see this thing, and chances are most of you will not be able to see it, it'll be hidden, go to your start button and type in control panel or just control, and then press enter. If your control panel looks like this, that means you've never come here before or you don't care, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are all developers. This should never be like this anymore. It should be most likely like either large icons or small icons, okay, like this. So you have more options here. I'm going to go with large icons so you guys can see what I'm doing up online, but I usually use small icons. What I want to do is I want to go to File Explorer options. This is the one I want, File Explorer options. Okay, I don't want to do anything else. Click here. It's going to bring this dialog box up. The difference between a window, an application, and a dialog box has either OK, cancel. That means if I try and click away right now, okay, it's cool, it's not modal, but it'll stay up here forever. That's a dialog box, okay? So now there's a couple things here. There's the General tab and the View tab. Let's click on the View tab. Okay, let's go through it. I want to display file icon as thumbnails, right? I want to display the size information on folder tips. I want to display the full path in the title bar. I want to show hidden files, folders, and drives. That's probably clicked not show, right? Or don't show. I also want to not hide empty drives. I don't want to hide extensions for known file types or hide folder merge conflicts. I also don't want to hide protected operating system files. You guys are developers. You should see them. If it bugs you, you can turn it off later. And then click OK. If you did this properly, like I asked you just to, then if I go back, you should be able to see your hidden .git folder, yes? Why do I want you to see it? Let's click into it. You can see it's just another folder, right? But the other thing to note is that if I ever have a problem with GitHub, I can just right-click and delete. Don't do it. Don't do it, right? And if I right-click and delete, your Git folder is poof, gone, and there's no more Git. Question for you. What happens if I delete my Git folder? Is it bad things happen? I don't know. What do you think? You think bad things happen? It just removes my folder from version control. My folder becomes a project folder again, not a repo. Okay? So it doesn't really kill my files, but the great thing about it is, as soon as I create my Git folder, my .git folder, my project becomes a repo or a repository for long, right? Repository is the right name for it. If all I want to see is my my project folder, I wouldn't do Git init. Now, by the way, these commands that I'm going to talk about here, for now, for this first part of this course, second half, you're not going to need to do any of this unless you're a Mac user, right? Because Visual Studio does it for you. I'm just introducing them so you know what's happening in the background. Not because I want you to do any of them right now, okay? Although sometimes we can fix things with these things. All right, so we get init, we create a folder, right? And then when we want to add all of our files to the repository, we do git add dot. Git add dot, what it does is says, okay, check all of these files. Each of these files, I want these ones to be saved in my repository, right? I want to have these ones as a snapshot. Git add dot adds all of them. That's what it does. It's almost like a wildcard, like star in some other instances, right? So I want to add all my files to the staging area. It means I want to track everything. Okay, that's what git add dot does. Git commit -m, initial commit. -m is for message. What is a commit? A commit is a snapshot. I want you to think of it like this. I take a snapshot of my files, the current state of my files and folders, and I make a friendly name that I attach to that snapshot called a commit. That commit message, initial commit, is the first commit that I do. And by the way, the most common names for the initial commit is initial commit or first commit. Those are the two, all right, that you're going to see out there. First commit or initial commit. That's by convention. However, Microsoft, when you see in Visual Studio, doesn't even use that. It just puts it up on GitHub, and you'll see that later on. So that's your commit message. It's a snapshot with a friendly message that connects to that adds some context to the snapshot and tells you what it is. It's almost like a restore point, if you will. Whenever you do a restore point on a machine, you kind of create a snapshot, and it has a little friendly name on it. right? Okay, the next two we can't do until we have something up online. And whenever we make a repository online, think about it as an empty container. It's like an empty box, right? It doesn't have anything. So we need to create a repository. And the way you create a repository we talked about last day was we go to GitHub, right? First of all, you have to have an account. And by the way, if you don't have an account yet, please do so. It's going to look like this. Sign up. By now, you should have signed up for GitHub. If you haven't signed up, we're going to use GitHub every single time we're together. And for every assignment in every lab. So please sign up. You're going to lose marks if you don't. So after you've signed in and signed up for GitHub, right, we can go to our GitHub repository here, and I can click this plus button or this new button. Let's click the new button for now. And when I click the new button, it's going to say, okay, I want to add a new repository, and I can name my repository whatever I'm going to name it. If I was going to do it the long way. Guys, don't do this now. I'm just telling you what to do. If I was going to do a repo by hand, right? Because GitHub is going to do it for us. Or sorry, Visual Studio is going to do everything for us, okay? And by the way, if you made a repo by accident, like for example, test repo, I made this by accident, let's just say, right? How do I get rid of it? How do I get rid of this test repo, right? Here's the test repo, and you're going to get some instructions like this, right? If I want to get rid of it, I can go to settings, and I can go to this danger zone down here, and I can delete the repository, all right? So this is the way you delete a repository. And it says, hey, please type in the name of the repository. It's called test repo, so we can just delete it like this, copy paste, right? And then I can click on understand the circumstances, or consequences, and it's gone. And then I can type in my password. Oof, what work I have to do to delete something. But it's worthwhile because once you delete something from GitHub, it's gone for good. It's gone. So you don't want to do that very often. So I create a repository. Again, I'm going to go back to this. I would create a repository up online on the web service. And now that I have this, I can add a remote. The connection between my computer and the cloud is called a remote. That's what it's called in GitHub language, okay? A remote. And usually we name the remote origin, but not always. You can call it whatever you want. By default, by convention, by most people call it origin, okay? But it doesn't have to be called origin. You can call it whatever you like. Okay. For example, if I have multiple remotes that I want to push to, I have GitHub and I also do things on Bitbucket, and I have my own private cloud that I want to push to. I can have multiple remotes and I might call them different things. Okay. So that's the name of the remote. The remote is just a connection. Think about it as a line of connection between the two, and it's not always on. It's stateless and it's not on. It has to be turned on and turned off. It turns on when you push and turns on when you pull. But normally it's off. There's no synchronization automatically. You have to synchronize it yourself, okay? So then we add the remote. We say git remote add, that's the command. Origin, that's the name of the remote. And then the link, as an example, to your repository online. Okay, that's what you do. Once you've registered your remote, your origin remote, then I can do a git push -u for unconditional. And this is only for the first commit. After that, you just do git push, right? Git push -u for unconditional, origin to the origin remote into something called the master branch. And there's multiple branches on GitHub. For now, I just want you to think about it as the place where all your files are going to go, the master location, if you will. But you can have multiple branches. For example, if I have a team of developers in the front here, and I have, let's say, one gentleman working on bugs, and the next person working on a new feature, and the third person working on a whole new line of development, I can have different branches. And then later on, I can merge them back into the master branch, right? But for now, you guys are going to be working alone. So all you care about is the master branch. There's only one branch for you. Okay? Questions around Git and GitHub. You guys should be able to differentiate the difference between Git and GitHub. What is Git? It is a program that's running on your computer. GitHub is a service on the web. And there's different services, Bitbucket, GitLab, GitHub, a bunch of other ones, okay? GitHub is just the most popular one. So that is GitHub in a nutshell. But we need one more tool for us, because when we start off with Visual Studio, we want a tool to help us with GitHub. We don't want to use command line all the time if we don't have to. We want GitHub to be integrated into our development environment, right? So I'm going to go to Tools. Please do this with me. Tools, Extensions and Updates. And I want to click on Online. And I'm going to search for Git. Are you with me? Anyone else not with me? Okay, you're not with me. Okay, let's do it again. So go to Visual Studio, go on the Tools menu. Go to Extensions and Updates. You're shaking your head. Does that mean you don't know what to do or you got it? Okay, go to Online. Go to Git. Search for Git. And you'll see this. GitHub extension for Visual Studio. But you'll see this little button, Download, that appears on Git. Click that button. Click the Download button. And then when it's done downloading, it's going to say a little yellow thing that's going to come up, a little yellow alert. It's going to say, hey, we can't install anything until you stop using Visual Studio. So restart Visual Studio for this thing to be installed. So let's do that now. So we're going to close this down, and we're going to shut down Visual Studio, and it should automatically start installing for you. Guys, you need this update. You need this extension so that we're all on the same page. Do you need it 100%? Could you go without it? Yes. Would it be more complicated? Would it make your life hard? Yes. So please, let's make your life easy for now. And so have this little Visual Studio thing that's plugged in. It'll install, and you should be good to go. Any questions about Git or GitHub integration? Yes. Good. And it's no problem, right? Yeah, the reason why I got you to install Git is because later on this course, I don't want to do any more installations, right? So we've done everything now. So later on, I'll probably use it, right? So, and to fix problems, I may need to use it, right? So that's why I made you guys do that today. All right, so now that we've done Git and GitHub, I'm going to stop recording. This is everything you need to know for Git and GitHub, to set up Git and GitHub. And now the next part, we're going to actually do some commits, okay? So let us stop recording now.